The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
I feel like I'm drinking water that somebody siphoned through a sock to purify it. And they're like, "Hey, let me purify this water." I know. Let me grab a dirty sock and I'll stream the water from it. That's what I'm tasting right now.
You sound like the internet. Oh my god, the how bad LaCroix gets bashed on the internet is not even funny.
The aftertaste is what's funky.
I don't know what aftertaste it is you speak of because LaCroix is amazing. I'm saying.
All right. Oh, you hit the like button. Awesome. Oh goodness. All right. I made the cough noise. We start the show. Oh man, I need water to drink to wash down this water.
No, sir.
Let me get one more.
So LaCroix tastes like the only soft drink that allow in a dystopian future where no one is allowed to have emotions.
Oh man, I need to finish this by the end of the show, but I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this by the end of the show. I'm feeling like as it gets warm, it gets worse.
Oh man, see,
is that true? Is it true?
No, I drink them all the time. I have no problems with them, but there are people out there. I'll drink it lukewarm. Yeah, I have no problems with the LaCroix.
One more.
I don't know. So LaCroix tastes like someone that ate a fruit salad and then burped into your water bottle.
Did you say that, or did you look that up?
I'm gonna just throw in LaCroix burns throughout the show, just because.
That is a perfect answer right there. That is exactly what I'm tasting. All right, here we go. Make the cough noise. We start the show. Oh, I hope this doesn't suck. Oh goodness, that was all the cheesiness. Here we go. Yeah.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey there, family. Welcome to another PSVG OT. That sucked. Where I couldn't even read my intro because I was thinking about the aftertaste from the LaCroix. I was like, what is that?
Oh man, LaCroix is great.
Intro take two. This is our first time we've ever messed up an intro.
Thanks, LaCroix.
47 episodes in, and our first intro blunder comes from LaCroix. Let me get one more of these just so I can just be all in my feelings about it.
This Hope sponsorship from LaCroix is not going well at all.
No, it's not. They're not sending us anything. They're going to send us a cease and desist. Please never talk about our product on your show again.
Oh, man.
Make the cough noise a second time. Oh, here we go. Hello, family. Welcome to PSVG OT, episode number 47. It's I, your host, Coach Mo, joined by my brother, my fam, the LaMan to my LaMan. Devin Titus. How are you doing, bud?
I am doing good. It's not super late. Trying to keep on this trend of earlier shows. My boy is drinking a delicious LaCroix, and it's having him all up in his feelings.
I'm drinking a LaCroix. Delicious is a tough term. I don't know. So basically what happened was we were talking whoa, dogfight. Hold on. Pause. Go ahead and talk about your life.
Yeah, my life is good. We're out here chilling. The Rams won. There was a questionable call. Yeah, that was definitely PI. For all the people who say that, games aren't won off one play, that one play, I'm pretty sure, is what got the Rams to the Super Bowl. But other than that, things are well. The wife goes back to teaching next week, so that'll be fun. We celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday tomorrow, so that's good. So I have another day off, get to hang out with the fam and just chill out, so that'll be nice. Other than that, things are things. We're just out here trying to maintain, trying to keep the kids from killing each other. Hudson is at that rare age where he's got just all the energy in the world and not a whole lot of places to put it. So he's just out there running amok, driving his sister insane. We have to re-sleep train him again because he keeps deciding he wants to get up and then get in our bed in the middle of the night, and I gotta like put him back in his bed, which then interrupts my sleep. So I get to be exhausted because he refuses to stay in his bed. And that's not fun for anybody. So other than that, things we're just chilling. We out here. That's all I got.
See, I have the same problem. I have 2 dogs who slept all day and have been napping, and now that it's dinner time, they're fighting over who gets to go to which side of the bowl. So it's basically the same, except yours are human beings.
Yeah,
mine are not. Mine are like human. No, they're just dogs. They're a little weird, but I love them. I love them to pieces. So yeah, we're having one of those. We just woke up from a long nap, and there's food, and we need to decide who gets to eat the most food. But it's just one of those. We just kind of push through it. What I love about these 2 pups, and I'm just going to throw this out there. We did have a 3rd dog for a while who ended up passing away.
Oh.
But with these 2, they never ever like would escalate. Like they growl, bark, get in each other's face every once in a while, and then the young one just licks the other dog's face. It's like, hey, this is totally going to solve the problem, right? If I just like put my tongue in your mouth, and I'm like, you must be watching Daddy a lot because that's my go-to whenever Mom's mad at me. So evidently I'm a bad influence on him, but that's about as far as it gets. But every once in a while, like our older dog, she's 9, and sometimes she lets out that growl that lets me know, hey, if you don't get between it, I'm gonna finish it. And that's why I got up. I was like, that's not the growl we want to hear. That's the someone's gonna die growl. that's not the lick my face growl. So, well,
fun times.
Now that we've had a horrible intro ruined by our sponsor today, LaCroix.
Yeah, so LaCroix tastes like my ability to retain information for exams if the exam I'm studying for is what certain fruits taste like.
Oh man, we had an interruption by 2 dogs fighting. It's normally you who has the interruption. This is uncharted territory in this episode.
We are in the bizarro world.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. But we're actually going to be having more of a serious talk because tomorrow is a very, very special day.
Yes, it is.
It's Martin Luther King Day, a day that my wife and I have always done something special on. And the last 3 years, I was actually gotten to be part of a march that our students did. They wake up early, they walk. They go out and do things in the community. But the walk was always like the important part. Was the getting together and being together and marching. This year, the school I'm at right now doesn't do any of that stuff. And I didn't realize how much I was going to miss it. So what I wanted to talk about is our story for today was when you're getting involved in these kind of political marches, these things that have a deeper meaning. What do you think the best way to start getting involved is, and what was the most important way that you have gotten involved? And so for me, like the being involved is easy. My last camp is I was with a large group of I think it's like 95% of our kids live below the poverty line. And when you talk about Martin Luther King, like his name is held in a reverence that I've rarely seen, especially with those kids. And so when we did our march and we would go out there and walk and do community service events afterwards and really, really like put in meaning for how important the day is. I've had that for such a long time. But this being my first year at a school that doesn't do that, it's really awkward. It's really uncomfortable for me. Like, I feel like I should have been looking to go do something, but I'm so used to like, oh, it's Martin Luther King Day. Like, we're going to be doing this, and this. And now that I'm in this new area, it's not as prevalent. And so I'm a little disappointed in myself. We actually talked about driving up to Atlanta, where one of his museums is. But because of the whole government shutdown, we weren't sure if it would be open. So we ended up not doing that, and so that's kind of where we're stuck at this year. Kind of wishing we would have done more and like feeling kind of helpless about it. So how about for you in the past? What were things that you've done or been a part of?
So it's funny. We always would just go to the parade. Like that was our biggest thing. The Martin Luther King Day Parade on MLK Boulevard in LA. Like that was just like a big thing that as a child and like throughout high school, we always did. There wasn't anything that we ever did to get involved big time. And I think about just like the time that we were in, like there wasn't this huge political like awareness or backlash or anything at the time that I was in high school and even like throughout college. It just wasn't, where we are now. Like everybody's just so much more, I would say, politically aware currently as we weren't like in the 90s. Like the 90s, it just like looking back, we just weren't in that place. Like it didn't feel like we had taken a step back. It felt like, things were good. We were moving forward. You didn't see the rampant racism. You didn't see just the hate that like we're feeling right now. And I didn't attend a school that was like 90% below the poverty line or anything like that. So like we were always, hyper aware of Martin Luther King, what he accomplished, what he did. And we've made sure that like our kids understand, Black History Month and what it's about. And what's really funny is last year, our daughter was in the first grade and they celebrated Black History Month. And it's really awkward because she's at a school, it's a Christian school, and it's 99% white. The 1% is pretty much all other persons of color would be like the 1%. And you have teachers that don't really know how to teach Black history. We get like, it was just bad. Like some of the stuff that we got was so bad. And it was just like the most basic stuff. They did some stuff on slavery that we were like, whoa, that's not good. It was something like, how would you go about if you were a slave, like what would you think about that? Or how would you, and it just didn't hit, it hit all the wrong marks. So like we reached out and my wife, she actually sent a lot of like Black history information to the school, to her teacher to be able to actually teach and the teacher responded back like, thank you so much. Like I didn't even know about half of this stuff. And it just shows you like, we live in our bubbles, and if you're not challenged outside of that your bubble that you've created for yourself, or that you just happen to live in without knowing like some of the plight of other people, you really have no idea how bad it is for certain individuals, and you really don't understand what Martin Luther King was fighting for. You think about just how recent that was in terms of just time. Like that wasn't that long ago that we were just marching for just basic civil rights, like the right for women to vote, the right for persons of color to vote. Like it wasn't that long ago. Like when you really sit down and think about it, it was not that long ago that we were just so oppressed and so segregated. And just look at some of the stuff that's going on in the nation right now, and it just feels like we've taken so many steps back. And it's really saddening, and it just highlights how important tomorrow is, and just celebrating his legacy and talking about the things that he fought for. It's just really relevant. I want to do more, and I realize that we haven't done enough, and it's really hard, especially out here in Bakersfield. Like it's just a really, really weird, awkward place because it's Republican, it's very conservative, and they don't do a whole lot. Like Black History Month almost feels like it's like kind of like pushed under the rug. Like, yeah, okay. And just I haven't heard anything about from Hunter School or Hudson's Daycare about MLK Day, other than it's a day that they won't have school or service. So
see, and I really love that the teacher responded that way. Like that's a good teacher. Like a good teacher, when you're faced with something like that, your response should be from a place of learning. And I take it from, so I didn't know a lot about my heritage growing up. Like I knew we were Irish, but I didn't really understand like how Irish we were. Basically, have you ever seen the movie Snatch?
Of course.
Okay. So the traveling people in there.
The gypsies.
Mm-hmm. that's what my family was. Like that came over to America. And so when my grandfather would talk about him, and he would talk about, here, you're labeled. And to him, he was talking about your social security number. Like you're forced to live inside these means. And when I think about the stories and the things I was told about how Ireland had just become free from oppression in the 1940s, 1950s, I think they became an official country in like 1963 or something like that. And so, but, he was always talking about, we've been slaves to the English for thousands of years and all these things they went through. And then, but that's never taught either. You know what I mean? Like, it's like slavery across the whole spectrum. They try to like really push away because they don't want to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And when you talked about that, like it kind of brought it to my memory, the stories that I was told about how, people would just take your land or take your things. And that's why they traveled. Because my grandfather said, if you could travel, you could run away and move and take the things that matter to you. And what he meant by that was your family. And so like when I'm hearing you talk about how it wasn't taught right and how, it wasn't shown in the right way, like that made me go, yeah, like these are things that we need to have these conversations about because of how horrible they are. Yeah. So that's kind of why I think that even though we've taken giant steps back as a society, I believe it's partially because of social media. It brings a lot to the forefront. Like if you would have told me yesterday, hey, a group of kids from a Catholic school are going to go to Washington, D.C., and they're gonna not only bully but intimidate an old Native American man who's playing a drum, I would have told you there's no way that's not the world we live in. But social media shows us how arrogant and horrible those people were. It took all I had, Dev, not to post online, hey, if I ever saw a kid like that pull this something like that, they would catch a fist to the face. Like I wanted to post it. But as a teacher, I can't put online, man, that kid deserves to be punched in the face because, that makes me look like a monster because you don't always know the context. So now you know the context. I think his actions are disgusting. Absolutely. I wish an adult would have gotten in between him. Like I'm talking the moment he saw it, an adult should have been, no, that's not how we act. That was horrible. The fact that video is 30 seconds long with an entire group of people acting a fool.
Yeah.
Just broke
the sad
my
part is it's like that's learned behavior. That's not something he decided to do like right in the moment. Like I feel like that is our failure as a society to teach better. I mean, like you said it, like we don't teach that kind of stuff. Like we just assume that everybody's a good person and everybody's being taught the same things and that we treat each other like humans. And it just shows you right now that just in our nation, like we don't treat each other like human beings. For that kid to go to a school that is supposed to be about Jesus and uplifting and being a better person, for him to treat another human, regardless of skin color, race, any of that, to treat another human that way is so un-Christ-like, which you would suppose he's being taught in school. It is very, very saddening and very off-putting. It's just like, how do we get here? How are we not teaching our children better? How are we not setting better examples? How do we live in a world where stuff like that happens and happens way too frequently? No,
there's a tattoo I always wanted to get, but never did. And it's Imago de Christi, which is like the image of Christ, which is what all Christian religions should be trying to teach their children, to be in the image of Christ, to live a Christ-like life. And if you're not Christian, that's okay. What we've talked about on the show, I've dated a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds. One of my long-term, most serious relationships was with a woman who was Muslim. I learned more about the Muslim culture than I ever thought not possible. I learned more about how accepting and loving a lot of that culture is. And they just have some bad eggs ruining it for a lot of people. But if you're Christian and you're supposed to be raising someone to be in the image of somebody, I don't ever remember there being a story in the Bible where he's a douchebag.
Right.
Like, I don't remember there being like a parable or like Jesus like, oh, hey, but if they're different color than you, you totally act like a prick and ruin it for everybody. No, he doesn't do that. He loves the sinners. He loves everybody. Like, he doesn't care who you are. He was like, hey, back when Jews weren't supposed to be hanging out with Gentiles, he's like, hey, Roman, get on over here. Come sit down. Have some bread. Let's have some food. Let's chill and talk. That's who he wants. So you're telling me that this person, your religion is based off of the person you're supposed to literally be following. He's cool with this crap fiesta you're pulling. And I just don't understand it, man. Like, it bothers me to the core. You know, it's just
Yeah, we can go so many directions with that, because even just like do we want to go here? Do we want to take it there?
Dude, we're already here. We're already here. Listen,
our president.
Oh God.
Like, the fact that there are so many people who claim to be Christians and like they say that they follow him and they're pro-Trump because he's part of the Christian agenda. Yet so much of what he's about and what he's done and the things that have been shown from him is so much hate. But how could you ever, as a Christian, support his agenda? Like, I don't understand. I can understand, okay, yeah, you're Catholic and you're anti-abortion. I don't know if that is necessarily something that Jesus would be okay with, because I can say, okay, yeah, you're following him, you're with Trump because he's anti-abortion, he's pro-life or whatnot, and you want to follow him off that. But there are so many other things that he does that is not Christ-like at all. So for you to want to be pro someone who is so against the teachings of Jesus that it makes no sense. I don't understand it. And again, it leads me to, like, how did we get here? Like, what is going on? It's beyond me. It is so far beyond me what's going on in this country, and the hate and just the nonsense that is going on. It is just beyond me. I don't understand it. I don't know how we got here, and it infuriates and it terrifies me. It absolutely terrifies me, especially for my kids. Like, bringing them up into this world where persons of color you get pulled over for a traffic stop and you don't know what's going to happen. It's terrifying. Like, I think about all the time, like, me being in the car with my kids, and if I get pulled over for anything, like, I'm terrified, absolutely terrified. And the worst part is, I know a lot of the cops. I work with a lot of the cops. Like, as working for the city of Bakersfield in IT, I see cops on a daily basis. But yet and still, I am so programmed from what I've seen, from what I've experienced on my own, that I am terrified of being pulled over. Absolutely terrified. I'm terrified when, like, just thinking about my kid walking down the street, like, as a person of color, like, it's terrifying.
Sorry, I was about to cry just hearing you talk, because these are fears that I don't want anyone to have, but most importantly, someone I love as much as you to have. Like, and I wish there was more, like, I could be doing to fix that. Mm-hmm. I didn't vote this year. One of the first times. I haven't done it in a while, but it was because of the simple fact that when I prayed, I did not feel comfortable voting for Hillary or for Trump. And Hillary wasn't the emo thing I didn't like. That had nothing to do with it. My issue came more when her and Bill went through that rough patch. Mm-hmm. I didn't see them, like, talk about how they reconciled it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And I would have loved to have had her talk more about how that infidelity, how she got through it, and more transparent with that. And I know not everybody feels that way, but that was part of it from, like, why I wasn't a Hillary fan back then. Like, I was like, no, your husband's a cheater. Like, you leave cheaters. And in my head, I didn't understand why she didn't leave. Like, I wanted more clarification on this. That's what I loved about Michelle Obama. And I'm not saying Barack was perfect, but I've seen in her book and other things where she calls Barack out on things. Like, that's how my wife calls me out on things. But then the way that, like, she kept running for things and saying things, and I feel like she was throwing just as much hate as Trump was throwing. And I would have rather had her to go, you know what? Yeah, the person I'm running in is a child and he's making these mistakes and these arguments. But here's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? When I voted for Barack, it was because of the speech he made about change And that led into his wife talking about how she wanted to help physical education teachers. And the way I'm judged is off how a student does in my class, how they pass a certain test. Okay, whether it's the pacer, whether it's the fitness test, whichever one we're using. But when we're serving them these horrible lunches that are literally helping these kids gain fat, that hurts my job. It makes my life harder. And her main agenda was we were going to fix these school lunches. And that's why I fell in love with the lady. Okay, that's why I proposed to Michelle Obama many, many times. I let her know I'm in love with you, Michelle. Because she literally stood for fixing something that like affected me directly, right? But with this last time, there was neither proponent made me go, yeah, I totally want to vote for that person. I was like, no, you're both tool bags. And there's no third party. Like everyone's like, well, you can vote for this third party. No. If I vote for a third party, let's say all of America votes for the third party, we're still going to lose, guys. Because the Senate and the House and their electoral college votes, that's who wins. It has nothing to do with what we vote for. And that's God, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
College. Oh man, that's another topic that the electoral college. We need to get rid of that. It's such a waste.
So this is our most serious podcast of all time.
Absolutely.
So do we stay on this? Or do we throw in some of these questions? Because none of my questions today were serious.
I think we could stay here for a while, but I think this would be a topic or a podcast that we need to actually prepare for.
Yeah.
And actually bring in questions. So people
this is when you need like Donnie on and like
absolutely
his brain. You know
absolutely.
What I mean? Like him you're both idiots. Here's what has to, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, that works. Donnie, you know more than I do.
He definitely, he follows a lot more of that stuff closer than I do. For me, it's a lot of it is emotion.
I have those.
So listeners, if you want to hear us get super real with any topics, anything at all, let us know on Twitter. So hit us up at PSVG OT or hit us up in our Discord, discord.com/PSVG, I think it is. And let us know if you want to hear us get real on any specific topic. And if you'd like us to have a guest on to also discuss and banter back and forth about said topic. So with that in mind, let's get to some of these messages and take this up a notch.
All right. Okay. Calm the emotions, back into it. So our first question comes from our little homie, Lil Shy. She's been through a lot on the show. She got a boyfriend, went to a dance. Went to a dance, then got a boyfriend. I did those backwards. Congratulations, you two. You're awfully cute. Thank you for keeping me involved in your awesome little lives. But she's currently going through a drought. Her team is 0-7 since the departure of, let's just say, an old coach who I don't think it's because I left that they're losing. I think it's more that division's really tough. Okay, so I just want to throw it out there right now. But so they're 0-7. So her question for us is, after going 0-7, what is the biggest funk changer you've ever had? So how did you get out of a funk, Dev?
See, I'm probably the worst person to ask this question because in my high school career of football, I went 0-30. Didn't win a single game. Not at all. Not a win. Didn't see a W. We lost every single game that I played in high school. We had some close ones. We also had some really bad ones because there was a contract that was signed to make us play against these really upper echelon high schools. It was just a money thing, and we got beat by those schools 3 years in a row, like 51-0. Like they were just so far out of our league, it wasn't even funny. So, as far as getting out of a funk, like every week we had to get out of a funk because we were getting our butts handed to us, and like the best thing you can do is just keep pushing, watch film. Like, oh my God, I wish we would have watched more film. Like, watch film to see, the little things you can tighten up. Look at the stuff that, is a little off that you can work on, do that and just let yourself know, what, hey, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's just like, like Kobe, you just got to keep shooting. You can't get down on yourself. You can't start to wallow in it and then let like, the funk overtake you. You gotta shoot yourself out of it. You gotta play through it. You gotta talk. You gotta psych yourself up. You gotta get whatever teammate is like your ace. Y'all gotta psych each other up so y'all can keep pushing through and get out of the funk. You just can't let the funk overtake you. It's just got to be one of those things where you're constantly looking at your game, seeing where you can tighten things up, and then just keep playing hard, and just play through the funk.
That's good. For me, you got to change the socks. And that's a saying that I've used in the past. And what I mean by it is when you're going through a funk, something in your daily devotion to that sport, your daily rituals, your practices has to change, because losing is a learned behavior. Like, you lose because you continue doing what losers do. You continue practicing like a loser. You continue working like a loser. There's something wrong. I've had teams that were not super talented win me state championships as a coach. And I've had my best, most athletic, amazing teams who had athletes who all went Division I, and I've lost and not made the playoffs. And it's all about, again, you got to change the socks. So if you're going through hard times, if things are getting bad, then you got to change something. My favorite book has a line for the 13 and a half lives of Captain Blue Bear. And that line is, when bad habits become habit, it's time to turn over a new leaf. So change your socks. Change the way you do things day in, day out. Find a better way and keep attacking. That'd be my advice.
Yeah, we changed our socks. We got a new coach. And the year after I left, they won games. And a few years later, they won a title.
There you go. See, you just got to change the socks. All right. So our next one comes from Micah. And Micah asks, in an alternate world where you have the power to make one choice, you can either become your favorite superhero, but only in their movie world, or you can rewrite a movie, but you'll never get to be a part of it. Which would you choose?
Oh, man. Rewrite the X-Men or be Thor.
Yep. That's tough.
Screw the X-Men. I'm gonna be Thor because I mean, if I can be
Nice.
Thor in the MCU, I mean that's good time. I get to pal around with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I get to make fun of people. I get to throw a hammer.
Yep. You lose your eyeball. Okay.
I lose my eyeball, but I get another one.
That's true.
So that's a positive. I mean, I've got excellent hair and I'm swole.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not really seeing any negatives to being Thor at this point.
No.
I mean, yeah, his family is a little jacked up, but isn't everybody? So
yeah, they got some issues.
I'm gonna be Thor, and the X-Men can just continue to suck in their movie universe.
This is so hard for me because everything in me says be Hulk. Like that is not tough for me to do. However, I could rewrite the worst superhero movie of all time, Thor Ragnarok.
See, here you
I
go.
could fix that hot pile of trash. Oh, be Hulk, fix the trash. Be Hulk, fix the trash.
Look, man, just be Hulk so we can fix Ragnarok together.
But then, no, that's not the deal. The deal is if I choose to be the character, I don't get to fix it. So I'm stuck
But
in
you get to hang out with me.
where Hulk's wife's not there, where Scar's not born, where they ruined two of the best characters in the entire movie.
Yet, all of that, we can go get you a wife, and we can go do all those things.
I just don't know. That movie was so bad, but I want to be Hulk. All right, I'm gonna be the Hulk.
Yay!
So you and I tag teaming in movies. God, but that movie sucks so bad. No, I already made my decision. It's final. These hard choices are brought to you by LaCroix, the water that tastes like water.
Yeah. LaCroix is what gentrification tastes like.
No. Oh, LaCroix.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, our third question. This is our last one. This is from Jesse. Jesse wants to know, with all the games that have come out this year, is there one you've gone back to and why?
Are we talking about 2019 or 2018?
I'm guessing just backlog games that you've gone back to is how I'm going to take it.
For me, everything is a backlog game. I play Destiny like almost exclusively. So everything that I've gone back to has been a backlog game. So right now, what I've gone back to is Spider-Man because I want to finish it. I'm trying to get through a game a month, possibly two if I can really get to it. And for me, this month that game was Spider-Man. So I'm currently like 85% done with the campaign. I'm trying to get the platinum for it. So I have a couple more trophies left, but they'll all be like done. Once I finish the game, I'll also get the platinum. So I'm working it that way. But that's been the game that I've gone back to this month, mainly because like everybody talks about how great it was, and I enjoyed it. Like I played it day one, played a little bit, but then got sidetracked with just stuff. So I'm trying to make my way through my backlog. So that's been the game that I've gone back to pretty much all month. So that'll be what I finish out this month, and then next month I think I'm gonna try Detroit until we get to Anthem, and then I'll be playing Anthem for a minute.
Man, on the Anthem front, if they have like customizable pieces that you like pick up and unlock for your mech, like throughout the game, kind of like Destiny does armor. Ooh, man, I'm gonna be hooked. Like I'm just telling you, like
a lot of customization in that game.
So mine, it could have been. There are two options, but I'm going to talk about Destiny 2. A buddy of mine posted a picture of his Destiny character, and it's like 640. Is that right? Is that the new cap?
The max is 650.
Okay, so 650 then. So he just hit the cap again, and he threw something up there about the cap and how for Destiny 3 he thinks more stuff's going to roll over, like more than what I guess was able to roll over last time. And I sat there and I was like, I haven't finished the Cade missions. My light level's like 315. I'm going to just start grinding these out. So what I do is every day I've signed on and I've done the daily Crucible, a daily strike. That's all I've done. And we're talking 7 days in a row of this. My light level is like 525. And that's all I'm doing. Like I'm just jumping in, little Crucible, daily strike, a little bit of the Cade missions. I've now got like 4. I've beaten 4 of the warden sergeant guys who helped kill Cade. So I've got 2 left and the dude I really want to kill. And I'm like, man, I'm just having a good time. Like just going through and doing this. And I'm like, man, I might get to like 600 in another week. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
And that's been me going back. Like I'm not playing with anybody. Like the reason I stopped doing the daily Gambit run, Gambit with strangers sucks.
Yes, it does.
That is the worst mode ever. Okay, I literally had 70% of the primeval damage, and we lost.
Yeah,
because they were busy trying to jump into the other team's world to shoot them. Like, guys, we have one job: kill the big monster. Stop.
So here's the problem. They were probably trying to do something that had nothing to do with winning the match. There is a lot of different things that people are chasing that involves, like, for example, going over and getting a team wipe. So for one of the guns, one of the steps is you got to go over and kill 4 opposing players in a Gambit match, or have 4 players killed by your team. So there's a lot of stuff. And then also I think for one of the titles, the Great Again title, you got to go over and you have to kill a certain amount of people. So you'll get people at this point, because Gambit is old and you don't necessarily need to win games of Gambit. There are people who will go in a Gambit and literally just not even worry about playing the objective or trying to win the game, because they're chasing something else that requires you to do a certain thing in Gambit. So yes, Gambit as a solo player is really, really frustrating.
And then I texted you my Crucible stats.
Yeah,
in Rumble, 2.5. Then I go into Iron Banner, and dude, I am getting murdered. Like I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like I'm slow playing. I have this really sweet auto rifle. I'm like, my loadout's good. But if they won, like literally, I hit a guy with a grenade, threw my hammer at him, unloaded a clip. His health barely went down. Like I'm talking, I maybe got through the shield. I was like, oh, awesome. And then I remembered in Iron Banner, light level matters.
Well, the funny part about that is it only started mattering like recently. Before, Iron Banner was like regular Crucible, where the light level didn't matter. Now It matters. So yeah, you go in there and you're under leveled, you're gonna get murked.
Oh yeah, I was like, and then I was like, can't they just match me with low level people? I don't see a lot of people like as low as I am light level.
Yeah,
like I just got to level 50, so I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if that's all you're doing, like you need to also play like a daily story mission, because once you play 3 daily story missions or whatnot, heroic story missions, you'll actually get another powerful Ingram. There's a whole system of ways to get powerful Ingrams that it is really easy.
I still don't have the achievement for a Nightfall or a raid or leveling up the other 2 characters. Also, I use one of those tokens where you can speed level a person up. Doesn't count for the achievement. Piss me off. Now I have to delete that character and start over.
I ran into that same thing because I was trying to do that for my Titan, because I just wanted to pop the trophy and call it a day. I don't play. I only play the Warlock. So I did the same thing because they gave you one free. I was like, oh, cool. I can just level up my Titan, get these things, and not call it a day. Nope. Not at all. It's like this.
Yeah, that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Well, so with that,
kill Aldrin. Kill Aldrin. Go ahead and do that.
That's my next level.
So I can spoil some stuff for you.
I can't wait. By next show, I should be that far. Because he's like, is he one mission after you kill all those sergeant guys? Maybe 1 or 2.
So. Okay. Maybe 1 or 2. I think after you kill them, you do go after him. I can't remember if there's any more stuff before it. But the funny part about this game is that every week something new has happened since the game has come out for the most part. So like every week there's more story added onto the game. So you're gonna finish the campaign, but like you're nowhere near the end of the story. There's so much other stuff. Like I know Seth just said that he had finished and he felt like the end was kind of a letdown, but I like you need to keep going because there's more that explains that ending. It's really only like Act 2. So there's more. And as far as Destiny 3 is concerned, I Bungie split with Activision. So I don't know if there's going to be a Destiny 3. They may do that just to try to start fresh, but I think the game is going to be drastically different. I'm praying that since they actually get to keep the IP, that they will roll everything from D2 into D3 if there's a D3, as well as stuff from D1. My wish would be that they do something like they call like Destiny Rebirth or something like that, and it incorporates everything from D1 and D2, all that content, and then they have whatever their expansion is, but they don't actually number it. There's no need to do numbers on a game like this. Like literally, just call it Destiny. There was no need to ever have numbers. But I digress. There's no need to go into all that right now.
All right. Well, anything you're working on? You got coming in the pipeline?
Other than just trying to backlog and blog what I'm feeling about the game. So I want to finish Spider-Man this weekend and then get up on the our Patreon site. My thoughts on the game, not necessarily a review, just how I feel about it. Not gonna give it a number or score or anything like that because I feel like those are irrelevant. I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on the game. Other than that, that is all that I am working on. But I did want to let you know that LaCroix tastes like it was made by a society in which flavor is the scarcest natural resource.
I love it. For me, I have a couple little things I've been working on, 2 writing projects, 1 main project. And I'm actually, when we go off air, I'm going to be telling you about the main one because I think we're ready to do this. So be on the lookout for that. It's Coach Mo getting really stupid, and I'm very excited to share it with you guys. So hopefully by next week we can get that rolled out. But I don't want to say too much because I have a pet peeve. I'm not normally a pet peeve guy. Most things just kind of roll off my back, but I really don't like when people tell me they're going to do something they don't. It's been happening a lot the last couple of weeks, and so I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that makes me a little upset. So I don't want to do that to you folks. Other than that, I'm playing a little bit of Madden, playing some 2K, playing some Live. Actually, I had an awesome conversation with some folks over at EA about ways they can fix NBA Live, WNBA franchise mode online.
Yeah,
if you do that, I guarantee 3 people will play at least 10 years. You, me, and Dan. I was like, I guarantee it. Okay, it'll be my Las Vegas Aces dominating the WNBA frontier.
I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Age
Wilson.
My Sparks
Age
up in there.
Wilson. Kelsey Plum. Kayla McBride. Phenomenal. That's all I gotta say.
That's like, a couple of years. That's not forever. They're gonna get old and retire.
Age is the rookie of the year from last year. So even if we play 10 seasons, I guarantee I've got her.
It's all right. I'm gonna lure her away with the lucrative trade offer.
If I trade Adrian Wilson away, I'm the dumbest owner in WNBA history. Like, there are certain people you don't trade away. Talking to you, Chicago Sky. How did you let Elena Deladonna leave? That was the dumbest thing anyone's ever done in basketball. That's like letting Kobe go to the Clippers. Like, literally, that's how dumb it would have been.
I mean,
You know
it's
what,
the same
Coach?
organization
We
that
don't need
let Jordan walk. So
Let's go over. Oh,
wow. Just saying.
that's tough. All right. So with that, we hope you loved this very eclectic show. Got a little political, got a little religious, things I don't think we normally ever do.
Right.
Got a little goofy, got some WNBA in. So what more could you ask for? Our sponsor for this show was Croix, the drink that doesn't give you anything. Literally, it gives you nothing. Not flavor, not taste, not calories. You're drinking air water. Awesome. So with that, we love you, family, and it's game over.
Shut up and sit down.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.